Good morning, everyone.
Morning, good morning. Oh my
Hi, everybody.
God. Woo! We're here for another episode of Excels Today. Come on, everyone. I hope you're having a great morning. It's Thursday. I'm sure having a great morning. As you can see, I'm dressed for the occasion. I'm feeling laid back, relaxed, ready to go. I'm always excited to be here. We have an amazing guest today. We have Chris. We have Ben with me as always. I don't even know why I just did that, like Ben's right next to me because he's not. But it feels like he is. So welcome, Chris. Thanks so much for taking the time. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure, Joe. Very happy to be here.
So before we get into, talking about, the future of Excel VBA and what Chris has to say on that, let's show our mugs. Come on, Ben, what do you got today?
I have my Starbucks New York mug. I know people collect these and everything like that. Like, I know these are kind of like collector's items. This is the New York version. It's my favorite city to visit, and once I'm fully vaccinated, I look to going there again soon.
There we go. I don't even know why I have this mug today, but it says my son's name on it, so I mean that's cool.
Oh, wow.
But it's really big though. It's like the size of my head.
I'm disappointed with my mug game because I've only got my glass today, but it's like full transparency I'm bringing to the stream today. This is the idea.
I love it. I love it. All right, so VBA. Let's talk about VBA.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the number one question we've gotten in all our live streams. It doesn't matter what the topic has been, and even on our video, there's a lot of comments is, what is the future of Excel VBA? It's been around for 20 plus years, but there's a lot of competition from JavaScript, Python. Microsoft even has a new PowerFX thing that's coming out. So like, what is the future of Excel VBA? It's just something that we've had for, like I said, it's constantly popped up on our channel. And so, I'm looking for somebody to come and talk to us about it. And I saw Chris, your videos, you've done a ton of videos on Excel VBA. And so I asked you to come on and you graciously accepted. So we're extremely happy to have you here today to talk about the future of Excel VBA.
Well, thanks, mate. Well, thanks, guys. As I said, really appreciate you having me on today. And it's a huge question. It is a huge question, the future of VBA. And I don't think I could answer that clearly in a few minutes. I'm not sure if I could answer that clearly in 20 minutes, to be honest. You said we've got 20 minutes, but we can certainly bring out the main discussions. And what I'd also say is, I'm not, I don't work for Microsoft or anything, so I don't have any insider information on this at all. I only have the same information that, the layperson has. But I'm very happy to, I think there's 2 or 3 key discussions. I'm very, very happy to kind of jump into a few of those.
Okay. Just a quick, if you want to maybe do a quick intro to what Excel VBA is and like what some real world applications are, obviously not everyone watching uses it or knows of it.
Absolutely. So obviously we're on Excel today. So I presume you're watching because you use Excel in some capacity. And if you think about Excel users, we've got developers and programmers like myself and Joe. And then, we've got the whole spectrum, people just using it kind of day to day. But the truth is anybody out there, regardless of your experience with Excel, can benefit from Excel VBA. What does it help you with specifically? It helps you with automation. Automation. Did you know people are only trying to do one of 4 things in Excel? Yeah, I've learned this over my 10-year career as an Excel, real Excel developer. You're doing data input, data analysis, data modeling, or you're doing automation. And VBA is going to help us with this automation part. So automation is where you're doing something that feels very manual. And it often involves moving data around. We've all done those jobs where maybe we've got data on one sheet. We've got to move it to 3 other sheets. We have to do it every day, twice a day. Maybe you have to take some data and fragment it into different files. We've all done those repetitive jobs. And I certainly did them, before in my previous career, before the VBA stuff started. So VBA very simply can get those repetitive manual tasks done at the click of a button. Yeah. And we do that by using what's called Visual Basic for applications, which is the programming language for Excel and for the Office suite. And the great thing about it, getting on to why I think VBA is going to be here for a while, is it lives in Excel. Excel VBA lives in Excel. So if you've never touched VBA, you can go ahead now, open up Excel, Make sure you can see the developer tab in the ribbon. You can go into your Excel settings, make sure you can see the developer tab, and then you'll have an icon that says Visual Basic Editor. You can click in there, and there you go. You're now pretty much a computer programmer. You're now ready to get started with Excel VBA. So yeah, this is why I love Excel VBA. Really, it can have an impact on everybody's careers, everybody's lives, and it's just super accessible, super practical for us sat there in Excel.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Chris. And again, just a reminder, everybody, our most popular video series on our channel is Excel VBA. So if you guys want to learn how to do all that coding, it is on our channel. And then also check out Chris's channel, because he has a ton of videos on VBA as well. A lot of stuff on dashboards, especially.
Oh, yeah.
So, Chris, what do you think is the future of Excel VBA?
Yeah, the $1 million question. I think it's such a difficult question. And as I said, we'll go through some different aspects. But I think the future for VBA is okay. I do think the future's okay. Yeah. Let's try to look at some aspects of it. Is VBA the most powerful programming language? No, it's not. Does it allow you to do things faster, data analysis, manipulation, whatever you might be doing? No, you can do it faster with Python. You can do it faster with other languages as well. But the reason that VBA, I think, is going to be around for a little while yet is that it lives in Excel. It lives in Excel, and this is a great thing about VBA. People can get to grips with VBA because it comes with a spreadsheet. So whereas with Python, you're like, okay, what am I actually doing with Python? With VBA, you can always see what VBA is actually doing. So it has this, in terms of practical impact, it's not the most powerful programming language out there, but in terms of practical impact and just sheer ubiquity, it's just everywhere. I think it wouldn't be possible to kind of switch off VBA, which in some of the discussions I've seen online, people seem to be kind of considering it as an option. Like, it's involved in so many organizational processes out there. If Microsoft were to go for a different language to sit inside the Office suite, which could be Python, I could only realistically see that being rolled out over a 5 or 10 year period, or even longer than that, And I think in my career, I'm coming up to kind of halfway. I'd say in my career, I'm pretty confident I'll be dealing with VBA. I do a lot of other stuff as well, by the way. I'm not just a VBA guy, but I'm pretty confident I'll be dealing with VBA for the duration of my career, at least.
Yeah, I mean, the way I was kind of looking at it in my own self is that it's kind of like COBOL. It's going to be around for a long time just because so many institutional processes have been automated with VBA, and that's been passed down to employee and generations of office workers. So that's kind of the way I was looking at it. That this question was like, how ingrained is it with all these other institutions and stuff like that. And that's kind of what I was coming to with that. I also think it's going to be around for a long time. I mean, Python and JavaScript, they're amazing for people who know it really well. But something that's great about Excel VBA is, like, you can kind of just jump in there with, just a bit of training and start customizing it right there. And like you said, it has that spreadsheet, so you see the results right away. So that's what I think why it's going to be around for forever.
Yeah.
Do you feel like just a question, Chris? Do you feel like Microsoft's trying to get rid of VBA, or do you feel like they're trying to transition people to something else?
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit speculative, isn't it? We're not absolutely sure, And I'm only speaking for myself here, guys. I'm not speaking for Learnit or anybody else. But I'd say the general direction that Microsoft is going is obviously towards the cloud, Excel Online, Office Online, and VBA doesn't support Excel being used online. So clearly that's a disadvantage of VBA. So it really depends how far we're going to go towards the cloud, and I'm not convinced that everything's going to be done in the cloud ever, in my opinion. I think we might even find, we'll have to see what happens over the next few years, but we might even find a bit more people come back to desktop usage. So that's a key disadvantage of VBA. And yeah, it doesn't fit with the long-term direction of where Office seems to be going, which is into the cloud.
Yeah. And I have to agree with that, because a lot of times what ends up happening is, even though we offer all these online services, right, a lot of the people that I consult with are still on the desktop versions. And the
Yep.
reason being is because the online versions just don't support all the features that these desktop versions have. So there's always that connection back to the desktop version. And that's why, in my opinion, once again, I don't want to, speak on Microsoft because who knows really what they're thinking or what their direction is. But I do believe VBA is going to be around for a long time because of that fact that, hey, listen, it's still on the desktop. A lot of companies are still on the desktop versions. Not a lot of people use the online versions yet to the full capacity that they should be. And not only that, but like you said before, Chris, you don't need to really be, a developer. Like, we're all developers at that point. I mean, VBA has that great tool where you can record the code as you can record your actions, your repetitive actions to kind of get a workflow or a process completed. And then it transports it right in and transcribes it into a code format, which is awesome because anyone can use it. So you don't have to be, feeling nervous or intimidated by this. And I just think that it's not going anywhere neither. I think it's going to be around for a while.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I agree 100%. And just for the viewers, if you've never used the macro recorder, just to emphasize what Joe's saying there, you can start up the macro recorder. You can see it in the developer ribbon in Excel, start it up and then go and do something in Excel, whatever your manual process is, move some data around, and then stop the macro recorder. And then the macro recorder translates your actions into VBA. So it actually generates the computer code for what you did, and then you can then subsequently tweak and harness that code. Maybe put a button in the spreadsheet to run that code, and there you go. You're on the way towards automating some of your processes.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess we're all in agreement that Excel VBA is here to stay.
Shall I do some devil's advocate stuff?
Yeah.
Got some ideas. So let's say, okay. So like you guys, I run live streams, and we had a product launch a couple of months ago, and it's like the deepest, darkest depths of winter here in Nottingham in the UK. It's like cold outside my office, and we were doing a live stream about 8 o'clock at night. And so the channel is primarily about Excel and Excel VBA. So most of the people in the channel were in the live stream were pretty positive about what was going on. But then somebody came into the live stream, and they were saying, why are you using Excel when you can do it all in Python? You can do it all in Python, and it's faster in Python. Why are you doing it in Excel? Yeah. So that would be, maybe I'll put this one to you, Joe. I don't know. So why do we need VBA when we can just do it in Python?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that for me, my opinion would be that Python is very intimidating. All right, it's a coding language. I mean, so is VBA. VBA is a coding language, but I find that when I started out to do some of these codes, I started coding in VBA, and one of the reasons I did that was because of the language itself. When you're coding in VBA, it's an awesome structure of a language. It's I don't want to say easier because I don't want to like throw VBA as being something that's just the easiest thing in the world, but at the same time, it's an easier language to learn. I started out with VBA first before I moved on to like Python or Java, and I think that people are so used to Microsoft. They're so in tune with Microsoft. They're using Excel. They're using PowerPoint, that the VBA language itself feels very comfortable for them. And it feels like they're in a place where they don't have to feel like overwhelmed with learning a new language. So I think a lot of times when I am teaching this, and once again, when I do teach or run these VBA courses, we start out really basic, running maybe a couple of loops here or there, or having some fun with creating a message box, and I just do some fun stuff with it. And people really, the feedback is just, wow, Joe, that wasn't that bad. That wasn't that bad of a code.
Yeah.
Like I can remember that code.
I'm still alive. Yeah.
So I think that's why VBA is going to keep going. I think that's why VBA is something that I always recommend as one of the first languages that you could start off with, especially if you're brand new into coding.
Can I just make one point on what Joe said next? absolutely spot on to me, like what Joe was saying. But I would actually say, in terms of the syntax, so we're talking about, right down to the spelling and the different constructs, linguistic constructs that are brought together to create the code, the syntax. I think something like Python is actually more intuitive than VBA. But the thing about VBA is it comes packaged in an environment that is familiar to everybody, really. Almost everybody's using Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and VBA comes in that environment. So it comes with a set of tasks that we can readily understand, and that for me gives it this unique practical value. And as Joe was saying, for me, it is the place to start your coding career.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all that. And I definitely agree with the intimidation factor, because like if you ever go to try to download Python, it just looks like, like an old site that you would download like WinRAR off of or something like that, like back in the message board days.
Wow.
And, it just kind of opens up like a command line window and everything like that. So, I mean, like that just is intimidating. And like you said, that package, that wrapper of Excel is so powerful as far as, convincing people that it's a practical, a more practical version or programming language. And so I think that's what's kind of lost on people is, especially like, you live in a bubble of like, if you're doing Python all the time, obviously, you work with other people that do Python. If you run into somebody else, you're like, well, why aren't you doing it Python? It's just like, there's an intimidation factor for sure that goes along with that. And
totally. I mean, yeah, it's I'd say portability as well. So because it's in this familiar environment, it's portable, so you can send it. You can send it on to anybody else. And if you're doing something in Python or R or whatever it might be, the chances are you're going to download to Excel at some point, so you can get into the right currency, you can get into the right language, and then you can send it on. But I would say another interesting thing Ben said there was. I've got this idea of different usages, and Excel is just such a rich topic. I spoke at the beginning about the different applications of Excel, the 4 main usages, but there's usages in terms of who are people creating spreadsheets for? Yeah. Who are people creating spreadsheets for? And you could kind of segment the Excel user base. So there's people who are doing stuff for themselves, and this whole range of people, it might be you've got a little shopping list in Excel. But it goes all the way up to academics who are doing like hardcore statistical analysis on massive data sets. But they're all unified by one thing, which is they're doing stuff for themselves. Yeah. If you're doing something for yourself, piece of analysis for yourself, whether it's your shopping list or your PhD dissertation, you can use what you like. Yeah. Seriously, like get it done as efficiently as you can. Python, like whatever you like, it's all good. But a lot of people out there, they're creating spreadsheets for other people to use. Yeah. And again, there's a range of people who fit into this category. There's people in organizations, if you've got a standard kind of, office job, other people are going to use the tools that you create. And in my job, I'm in this category too, because I create tools for other people to use, organizations are using every day. And then I even create tools for organizations to sell to other organizations. So they're not the end user. They're going to sell it on to organizations, or more specifically to their customers, to actually go ahead and use. So that's another key kind of dynamic in this. If you're doing stuff for yourself, then you can choose. And I think the people who are most frustrated with VBA and with Excel, it's that kind of person, because they can just switch it and use something else. But a lot of people out there, and anybody who's doing any kind of consultancy or freelance work, or like I am, I've got a little company. That affects the choice of tool. Like suddenly a whole load of practical considerations come in, like, okay, does my client have this software? Is my client going to be able to open it? Is it going to work on this version? And that's one reason why, I'm not using XLOOKUP at the moment, for example, because I've got customers who are on Excel 2007, So It really changes the game. It changes the dynamic of the debate when you consider like these different user needs, if you like. And I think that's a big reason there's a lot of kind of frustration in this debate, because people are talking from very different perspectives.
Oh, I 100% agree, Chris. And I love that lookup example, because it is such a powerful tool, and I've been teaching it a lot. But what I've come to find is not a lot of people still have it rolled out. And it is such a new feature that, of course, it's easier to use it. but at the same time, I'm not using it. I'm still using the old way of doing things because of the fact that, well, half of my clients don't have the capability to use it. So I think that's dead on as to why VBA is still something that's going to be around for a while, is because I mean, I'm still dealing and consulting with companies that are still on 2007, some even still as far back as 2003. And,
Wow.
good for them.
Yeah.
They didn't get on board to change anything, and they're kind of good with their process at that moment. But yeah, that's one of the biggest things is, hey, listen, people are still using this. That's why even though Microsoft stops sending updates to a lot of these different applications, I still know a ton of companies that still use it. That's why I really think VBA is not going anywhere, because the rollout to kind of stop those updates, I think they just stopped doing updates for 2010. Ben, right? Or are they now on 2013 that they stopped updating?
I think 2010 was the last one. I think 2013 is still getting support currently.
Yeah, so that's just an example right there of why I don't think VBA is going anywhere anytime soon, at least.
And I think we'd find if there was this like VBA apocalypse and Microsoft says we're not doing it anymore, I think you'd find a massive rollback to Excel 2019 or the last version of Excel that supports VBA, because as you said, organizations depend on these processes, so they'd actually have to do it. They'd actually have to roll back, at least as an interim measure, before they got things on a different platform. So that would create a lot of ill feeling towards Microsoft, I imagine. So I think it unlikely for that reason. Yeah.
Well, I just want to maybe pop into the chat here. We have some live.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, let's do it.
So we have Omar here. He says, despite being a VBA developer myself, having a vast knowledge, I think people would be better off learning Python and JavaScript. Why? Because VBA is a dead end and endogamous.
Does that mean it's the end of the game?
I think maybe he's talking about future generations that, have been going to coding camps. Like a lot of the kids that are coming up now, they're learning coding in high school, middle school, and university, I guess, out there in the UK. So like they're learning those languages, and they're not growing up with computers either. Like, they're growing up with tablets and they're growing up with phones. So I can definitely see, Omar, like in the future that, like the next generation of workers, not the young generation of workers now, but like those kids that are in high school and coming up, they're not going to have that same connection to Excel VBA or anything like that. They are going to be more gravitated towards, a JavaScript or a Python type language. So I can definitely see like in the future that it kind of wanes out. But as I said earlier, I think it's also kind of like COBOL. It's going to be around for a long time just because there's too many institutional tasks and automation and billions of dollars that are automated by VBA right now. Chris, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, totally. I'm just reading Omar's comment. So firstly, Omar, thanks for the comment, and good to see a fellow VBA developer in the chat. I mean, I just think you've got to be market driven, and in 20 or 30 years, who knows what it will be, but as it stands, and at least for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, there's going to be a ton of organizations with the good old Dell PCs. They've got 20,000 of them. They've got some 20-year contract with Dell, 20-year contract with Microsoft to supply Office. They're the dynamics of the market. Yeah. The answers for me, they're not in the detail. The answers are always at the industry level or in the kind of long-term trends and stuff. And the way these contracts work, I know a little bit about them. IT contracts. They're long-term. So there's going to be a market there, for a long time. And don't get me wrong, the idea of having everyone on iPads running a different coding language, that sounds cool to me. That sounds cool. But, I've got my wife and children who they want me to be working on real world projects that I can get paid for, basically respond to some kind of real world need. So that's why it's funny. Like despite having a company that does Excel VBA, I've never actually thought about it much, which just sounds irresponsible, doesn't it? But it's because I have so many inquiries, like all the time, and so many views on YouTube. So I do think there's a slight disconnect between the debate and what's actually going on in the real world. And to me, without sounding too conspiratorial, to me that's because the debate is disproportionately influenced by academics, by people who work for big companies, by people who are data specialists, rather than being shaped by people who are actually doing like more practical stuff. And I know that sounds patronizing. It's not meant to sound like that. But there's a disconnect between the content of the narrative, the debate, and then what's actually going on in the real world, according to the evidence that I can see.
I definitely agree with you, Chris, because I mean, Learnit as an organization, that's pretty much what, like what we deal with is, like people want to push out new things, but they find that, the plain old, same old Excel stuff that's been working for, the past 20 years is still what, the rank and file employees are using, and like you were saying earlier, like the VBA is more for the people that are making spreadsheets for other people, in most organizations. So that's kind of what we also see on our end as well is like we do private training all the time, but most people are just trying to get up to pivot tables so they can work within a spreadsheet that has macros and stuff like that. They're not actually creating the macros. And so it really does come back to that. What you're saying is, it's the data specialist saying, yes, there's other great stuff out there. But like you said, what actually works with your rank and file employees more than, trying, like, I can't imagine like a big company like Charles Schwab all of a sudden telling their entire admin team that they have to learn JavaScript or Python. Like, hey, you guys want to keep your job and doing spreadsheets, you got to learn Python. I just don't see that happening.
I mean, well, it would be great if someone would set the direction, wouldn't it? In Microsoft, if someone would say, listen, we're going this way. So in the next 10 to 15 years, if you want to do automated processes, you're going to have to learn JavaScript, because Excel Online is supported by this Office script language, and just set the direction, and then all of the ambiguity is gone, and who knows, the Learn IT video cast might not even be happening. If that was going on, I don't know. There seems to be some unnecessary kind of ambiguity and stress around it, because people are wondering what should they learn. And guys, if you're thinking about the next 10 years, learn VBA, right? And if it doesn't work out for you, email me. Yeah, email me in 5 years' time. Yeah, there's so much demand for VBA at the moment until a course is plotted in an alternative direction. For me, it's the best possible investment you could make in yourself.
And yeah, I can second that for Chris. I mean, and also we have about 2 minutes left here, and we were talking with Chris before, and Chris, I know that you have a new training out, right? A new demand training that you were talking about. Can you talk about that a little bit, and then we'll also talk about our giveaway, which kind of segues right into
there it is. Yeah, thanks very much, Joe. Well, so came on today, and Joe and Ben said they're doing a giveaway. So I said, we'll give away one of our courses. So my little company is called Tiger Spreadsheet Solutions. Tiger Spreadsheet Solutions. You'll find us on YouTube, on the good old website, Tiger Spreadsheet Solutions. And we've got about 50,000 subscribers, 5 million YouTube views, something like that. But recently we've released an Excel Basics course. So for this is people who, doing a bit of Excel, professionals who are trying to get Excel to work and kind of keen to understand a bit more about Excel. And we lay out in 4 parts, as I said, which is what I think the real world application of Excel is: data input, people like when you're recording data spreadsheets, what should you be doing there? What are the best practices? Data modeling. So for example, if you're making a budget model, you want to put some formulae in and stuff like that. That's data modeling. Data analysis. So you've got a data set, you want to understand it, you want to do charts and visualizations and stuff. And then finally, automation, which is automating those manual jobs using VBA. So it consists of 4 modules, and we're going to give one away. It's only been out a couple of weeks, guys. And I've got to say, it's the best piece of work I've done today, absolutely. And we've received a lot of good feedback on it so far.
That's great. And then we included your email address down there on the ticker there. Do you have any, is it the first person that emails you, or is it you just going to randomly choose one? Or
okay, I'm going to give it to. So let's set a time limit on this. So on Sunday, this Sunday, so that's the 25th, 26th, 28th, I believe. Sunday night, I'll look into my email, and I will give it to the best answer to this question, which is play devil's advocate against me. Okay, play devil's advocate against me. Why should you not be learning VBA? Okay, and I will give
I like
the basic course to that person or a person of your choice, because you may be, you may not need a basics course, in which case you can nominate somebody and I'll give it to them. But let's try to enrich this discussion a bit, because I think it's probably been a little bit one-sided. I don't know, but we've tried to look at some of the other aspects. But yeah, email me info@tigersolutions.co.uk and maximum 250 words. Just argue against me, and because I love getting informed critique on what I'm doing. And the best answer, I'll email you back and I'll give you a download link to get the Excel Basics course.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot, Chris. And then
Thank you so much, Chris. Yeah.
And just a
absolute
quick
pleasure,
reminder
guys.
to everyone: like and subscribe to the channel. If you leave comments down below, it helps out tremendously. Also, on all our videos, we did get into the beta applause program with YouTube, so you can now donate. If you like one of our videos, some of the training there, you can just donate directly. Like even 1 cent helps. Honestly, it all helps out. And then also check out Chris's channel. Go there, like and subscribe, watch his videos. He does incredible work there. And yeah, I want to thank Chris again for being on today. We reached out and it's been a fantastic show. I think this has been one of our best shows, period, actually.
Oh, thank you. Right, anytime, guys. Seriously, anytime. Yeah, very, very happy to help out. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. And for next week's episode, what we've decided to do, it is April Fool's Day. So we're going to have a lot of fun. And what I want to do is I want to actually visualize data with you. So stick around. We're going to have a lot of fun on that episode. I'll get you a small data set. We'll build it all into Excel so you can all follow along with me while we're building it. I'm going to show you how we can make an awesome visualization called an icon chart. And it just brings out just another variation of a way to analyze your data, visualize it in some sort of manner. So stick around for next week. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Ben. Thanks, everyone. And we'll see you all next week.